And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from the Lakers Fast Break Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Inside Sports, Fantasy Football. Chris Sardieri and I covered NFL Week 5. Yeah, we're already at Week 5 already. Goes by fast. Hoping I can get Joe on next week to talk about a certain Pittsburgh quarterback, which I'm hoping he'll elaborate more on as far as his fantasy options. But on this week's show, we do cover NFL Week 5 and are the Vikings for real? So we go ahead and talk about that on Inside Sports Fantasy Football, wherever you get your podcasts as well. Also, the Lakerholics crew at Lakerholics.com. Daniel Barry Sports Highlights, Empire Jeff TV, Lakers in 5, John McCalian channel, all those great places to go. John Koss has been putting out content on Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. All these great places. Please like, follow, and subscribe. And speaking of liking and subscribing, go ahead and do that today. Hit that notification bell so you can go ahead and get the latest word up on when we go live with the latest Lakers Fast Break. And also, you still can become a member today for just $2.99 a month. We'll get you emojis, badges, big shout outs. You'll get advanced notices on when we're going to go on the air. You'll get write-ups, all that good stuff, $2.99 a month. And to search Naija, Narukami, Too Tall, The Legend, 350, Weston, Moonlit Dreams, Remy, Retro 4037, Intel Wild, Samir, JSJ, Kurt, Darren, Sports Baby, and Xbox. I cannot thank you enough for continuing to be great members of the Lakers Fast Break. And last but not certainly least, there's a certain game that you can get right now as far as the demo is concerned. You can download the demo and wishlist Joe's game, Corrupt, on Steam. Let me go ahead. I'm going to show you a little bit of the action here coming up right now. I have it already set up. It's coming up right now. Joe, you are a proud papa indeed, because there it is in full glory as far as the demo video for you. But if you guys want to go ahead and download a demo of this fighting spectacular, you can do that right now on Steam at Corrupt and wishlist it as well. Isn't that right, Joe?
Yes, sir.
All right.
It's been some good activities. The developers have been playing against the crowd, and the crowd is already doing very, very well.
Oh, that's good. That's very good to hear. Again, the demo is now available, so go ahead and download it today. If you have Steam and you're a big-time PC player, go ahead and download today. It's not yet on Epic. It's not yet on Xbox or PlayStation. It is, I believe, on Xbox and PlayStation coming out soon. But right now, you get the jump on it if you are a Steam on your Steam Deck. If you got a Steam Deck, no better place to play Corrupt. All right. And on that note, it is, of course, Joe Soro, aka Ox1947, LakersBall.com, and also as well, he is the owner of Simblades. Simblades with a Y.com. Coolbro says, Gerald, we are in the big 3 best months. Are we? Okay. If you say so. Black, what's up? Thank you so much for joining us. Everybody, truly appreciate it. It is training camp day 2, and I do have Joe here now. He is available today. He is awake today. It's all good. Some things I want to run by him, but overarching theme here is JJ Redick, because he's doing some different things this time around. Some things I really like. Some things I'm very impressed with. Some things kind of have me questioning a little bit. But I want to hear Joe's thoughts on that, and also his first feedback from training camp as well. So we'll get into it first before anything, Joe. Before we talk about as far as the mood, the setting, the stuff that JJ's trying to implement, everything as far as what JJ's working out so far. Your overall thoughts on training camp heading into day 3 tomorrow.
I don't really I'm not getting a lot of information about actual gameplay. I'm getting more stupid talk about how LeBron is playing against his son and how everybody's reacted to it. So honestly, I've been trying to stay away from a lot of the dialogue because it's so fucking stupid. And I'm gonna wait till Friday to actually see some gameplay, so I don't have to worry about this waste of life discussion about some fucking guy who can't play in the NBA.
And on that note, one of the things that I wanted to discuss with you is that after Media Day, JJ Redick did hold a meeting at Beverly Hills afterwards to discuss more in detail some of the concepts he wanted to get across. That taking that kind of time and doing that kind of, I guess, type of meeting with the staff, with the players, those are the kind of things that I like to see to get his point across. He's been saying a lot of the right things, Joe, as far as the team needs to take more threes. They've been working on things today about in regards to better physicality on defense. He's been talking about crashing the boards, especially the offensive ones, on a more frequent basis. He's saying a lot of right things. He's using analytics with the guys. They talked about today that the guys had meters on as far as being able to track as far as their movements, plus also how much effort and how many steps, how many miles, just like you would with as far as your steps are concerned. They just rated how many miles as far as how much they ran today. And I guess Bronny was number one at 6 miles run in today's practice. So I don't know. You take that for what it's worth. But they're trying different things, Joe, which is impressing me. And before I get to some of the things that concern me with JJ Redick, at least I can say he's recognizing some of the things that went wrong last season and trying to make an effort with the relatively the same team to fix them. You're on mute.
I'm not sure why they need to calculate. This is it's an aerobic activity. Am I wrong? Am I right?
Yeah.
I don't usually it's anaerobic where you're running for a distance or you're walking in the same uh, kind of pace.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to understand, if this indeed is something he wants to improve, it sounds like he wants to improve the stamina and they want to gauge on what they're doing. I don't know why. I don't know why you would need to gauge it. I don't think it matters. But if you want this team to crash the boards and also shoot threes, you're going to have these guys be in probably the best shape of their life, which means they're going to have to practice a lot. Is JJ Redick going to actually practice, or is he going to be a pancake like Dave Darvin Ham and never practice because they want to save up for the games? Those are the questions you want to ask. It's a question that I'd like answered. If I was to ask JJ Redick, based off of what he has said this week, I'd ask him, are you going to run a traditional practice or practices throughout the year, or are you going to worry about running these guys down? This isn't the 90s Bulls. The 90s Bulls were already in shape before they got going. If they didn't, Michael Jordan would cut their heads off, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any leaders like that. There's no leader on this team that's going to make players be in shape when they come in, and they're not going to get berated by LeBron James or Anthony Davis in a way where they're going to be fearful of those guys. The feared star, I believe the last one was Tom Brady. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. People feared Tom Brady. You could feel it in the baddest players on that Tampa Bay team. And the reason why I bring up the Tampa team versus the New England team is Belichick, I think, took care of a lot of that for Tom. Tom was still demonstrative, I'm sure, and powerful. But I believe that Bill Belichick took care of that a lot for him, the majority of it. When he went to Tampa, Tom was the boss. And when they kept winning, especially late in the season, the Devin Whites, who I'm sure could go in any alley and scare the crap out of anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even he kind of, what you could feel, was bowing down in a respectful way, not in a fearful way, but there's that, hey man, we got to listen to this guy. He's going to take us to the Super Bowl. So you look at this, you don't have that. JJ Redick would have to be that guy. And if JJ Redick is to solidify that kind of respect fear, he's going to have to set this up so well that they come out the gate 9-1, something like that.
Okay.
Because what's going to happen is when you're winning, you kind of have to eat it. Hey, we're winning. We got to listen. Or if we don't listen, we're going to get destroyed because we're winning and I'm here complaining. Like it never ever fits. The winning is the great equalizer. Can JJ Redick be that guy as the coach? What coach has been given autonomy to be that guy in recent times? Probably Spoelstra. I think he's the closest one because everyone knows that Pat Riley respects him, and you're going to have to respect Eric Spoelstra if you want to stay in Miami. But I don't know necessarily if I would be fearful of him in that way. You could say Popovich, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Phil. I think one of the best things about Phil back in the day was when he would stand up. He would start chasing the ref on a bad call, and you could see the ref like shrink, and then everyone else around was like, "Oh shoot!" I missed that. Bill Cowher was probably the best one I've seen in my lifetime because he just seemed to have the timing of getting angry, like with the fans. That's one of the things I loved about him. So JJ's going to have to do that. He's going to have to do something that's really out of the norm right now. Can he inflict that respect fear on this team to where they're going to bow down and listen to him? It's very hard for a first-year coach who's never coached. The only way he can expedite it is if he wins immediately.
Well, like I said, I've been impressed by some of the things that JJ has been going after, implementing in practice so far, and the fact that he is trying to take it seriously and seems to have a game plan of what he wants to get accomplished. But a couple of things that he said and done kind of concern me. First off, I want to hear your thoughts on this. He's already talked about a 9-man rotation. And, when you have LeBron and AD already working on a lot of minutes this season, a 9-man rotation says not only do they have to worry about poor depth on the team, but they also have to worry about burning those two out, especially as LeBron gets ever so closer to the age 40 number. Your thoughts, my friend, on JJ Redick when he was quoted yesterday in saying that he's looking at a 9-man rotation?
So the 9-man rotation would be, you all know who the starters are. For those of you, I should say.
And he threw out some names.
I'll start from the top. Okay, LeBron, AD, D'Angelo, Rui, and Austin. They're the starters.
Mm-hmm.
You're definitely going to have Gabe Vincent. You're going to have Max Christie because those are the big money guys that got paid and they're going to get playing time. You have to have a big cover for AD, so for sure at least Jackson Hayes is playing. So that's 3. Now one more. Who's going to be the other guy? It's going to be Don Connect. Is it going to be Jalen Hood-Schifino? Is it going to be Cam Reddish? So that tells me logically, you definitely have Gabe, you definitely have Max, and you definitely have Jackson Hayes. Who's the 9th guy out of that group?
Well, he didn't mention Dalton Connect. He said he might be forgetting about somebody, so he did forget Dalton Connect, which Rodell emailed us and said I was whining about. I indicated he is the first-round draft choice this year that a lot of people are high on, and if that's the case, you have to see what he can do. He is an older rookie, so his time is sooner rather than trying to develop him for later, Joe. Because he's more of a finished product.
Well, I think it's more the fact that if he is going to benefit the team with his shooting, which is why he was drafted. Seeing him in summer league, he was shooting quite well after the first couple games. He got a great stroke, got a great release, got good spacing, and was making shots. That's what he's going to be used for. If he hits a couple threes a game, he's going to be playing. Guarantee he's going to be playing if he hits a couple threes a game. But that takes your rotation to 10. Who are the guaranteed guys? The guaranteed guys that are going to be playing off the bench is going to be Gabe Vincent, Max Christie, and Jackson Hayes. So now you have one more. Who are you going to pick? Jalen Hood-Schifino, Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish. Maybe we find out who that's going to be during training camp. Or do they run certain lineups depending on who they play, which is obvious. That's what they're going to do.
Bronny announced his first NBA game he'll be playing in. Well, that's not up to him, cool bro. You realized it's the coach's decision on when Bronny will play and what games he will play. So it is not up to him, cool bro. So that is an incorrect statement that you made. Vando, Dwight, Vando could be part of that rotation when he gets healthy, but he may not even start the season. It's very iffy at this point whether he and or Christian Wood, who was also not mentioned in that grouping of players, will be able to start the season, Joe. So that is of concern, I think, for Lakers fans out there for the 9-man rotation. Again, as I mentioned on yesterday's show, I've heard an analyst describe the Lakers front court depth as problematic, catastrophe, weak, things of that nature. So we need to get as many big bodies healthy as possible. But then again, that's all dependent on Vando and Christian Wood.
I have no thoughts of Vando or Christian Wood. They might as well be G Leaguers at this point to me. You're not available, you're useless. And Vando's made a career out of being useless because he's not available. And I don't give a damn if he's been available for 2 months straight and he did great. This is an 8-month season if you're going to win a championship. I am not interested in players that are not going to be available. And I have no feeling on it. Jared Vanderbilt has been a massive disappointment. Christian Wood has been on the team for a year and change. And his career is, in the long run, when he goes home and retires, he'll have played in the NBA and he had a pretty good career. But in terms of what this team needs, I don't see Christian Wood giving the Lakers this year any benefit at all. He's not focused enough. He has zero drive, and he has spurts, just like pretty much any NBA player that happens to hang on during the year.
See, that's a perplexing thing. If JHS does enough to earn some playing time, but you still want to play Gabe would have to play more off ball because the point guard position would probably be most likely be JHS as far as coming off the bench, if that's the case. And then you would have to move Max over to the 3 where he's undersized. Again, the depth issues are going to be something that the Lakers are going to have to try and work itself out, especially early on in the season with the injuries to Vando and Wood. But we'll see. And we'll see if Connect is given a shot, if he earns a shot, if he plays well in the exhibition games. Is he going to get time? Or is it just because you pass him off and you forget about him just because he's a rookie? I'm hoping not. I'm hoping because, again, he is a more seasoned individual coming out of college at 23 years old, he's going to be given a fair shot to get time in the rotation, Joe, if his defense is up to snuff.
Okay.
Because if the idea, and which brings me back to my point with JJ Redick, he wants the team to shoot more threes. He wants Rui, he wants D'Lo, LeBron to play more off ball and shoot more threes. He wants the team as a whole to shoot more threes. Connect, Max Christie, those will be your options for guys coming off the bench. Gabe Vincent will probably be chucking up threes. We don't know about JHS. We've seen JHS, and it's not been good as far as what we've seen at the pro level so far. So he's going to have to prove it to us to see how good exactly he is from out there. But the thing is, again, some of the things that concern me is when he talked about the team shooting more threes, he also indicated, as I mentioned yesterday, that he also indicated AD would be, he would like to see shooting more from the outside as well.
Didn't we hear this once before from the previous coach?
Yeah.
I thought JJ Redick was going to be different than the previous coach.
That concerns me.
What that means is if they're talking about throwing up more threes, that means they're trying to get more possessions to combat their deficiencies. Correct?
Yes.
So you want a 40-year-old LeBron James who's played the same way since he was born to start playing off the ball in his 22nd season. On top of that, you want to play a style of offense that's going to probably break his legs within about 30 to 40 games.
For a team that has questionable depth. Yes.
Exactly. So everybody's going to start shooting threes because you're shooting more, right?
A lot of teams are saying that. Phoenix, for one.
Who's the guy that sent you the email that we were negative?
There was a comment made the other day by Lion Emperor.
Lion Emperor, if you're watching, which you probably aren't because you're punk. But let's say you are. This is a message for everybody too. I want you guys to register what you just heard. And you tell me why I should be positive about hearing that. Go ahead and write it in the chat, and I'll answer it. Seriously. We're talking about an old player who's making $50 million. Still viable, stat-wise, though. Stats are inflated in this era of basketball, okay? Stats don't do shit. AD is a player that's still in his prime, who's a star. The problem is he's a human being still. He can't play 42 minutes a game. He's not that guy anyways. There's been guys like that. Shaq did for a very short amount of time. Kobe, obviously. But those guys don't exist anymore. So tell me, you're listening to the new coach saying the same things the old one said, whom you hated and wanted out. And then on top of that, all of a sudden, the same roster that the old coach had, who couldn't make that happen, is still here. And all of a sudden, they're going to start making shots because JJ Redick is yelling on the sidelines. You guys tell me if I'm nuts or negative. If that's negative, you don't even know what the word means. You're in your own head and you want to believe something because it feels good. I don't give a shit about feeling good. I'm going to analyze what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, and I'm going to make an assessment. The sad thing about what's going on with this team is almost everything I hear is bullshit. Just like when you go outside and you listen to people talk or converse or do things. I've had so many discussions with people where you'll ask them a question and they'll answer it, and in the same sentence contradict the first two words that they say. I mean, I'm talking like in that moment. I'm not trying to prove anything, but see, we're trying to prove, Like literally, they will say it just like that because they don't know what they're saying. They're just yapping. And I'm more harsh than the regular guy. Most people just kind of brush it off, or they don't pay attention, or they don't want any confrontation. Now, I'm not out making starting fights or arguments all day. I don't do that. No, but I store it in my head. I start to figure out what you're saying and who you are. This team did nothing to give me any reason that they're going to win this year, and they still don't. And if that is negative, and if you feel like you're not going to watch the show because you want me to sit up here and go, golly gee, let's hope they win this year.
As he drinks his Dodgers cup.
I don't give a shit about any of that. And speaking of the Dodgers, the Padres are coming on Saturday, and they better win. Because losing is for losers. Okay? Losing is for losers. You want to lose? You want to not look at problems on why you lose because you want to make excuses? We are watching this. We are listening. At least I am. And the thing don't compute. There's a difference between killing yourself and losing and sucking and losing. Case in point. We saw Justin Fields on Sunday do something that for the first few years of his career, he hasn't been able to do. He had a deficit. He had a deficit, and we didn't know at the time if he was going to be that kind of guy. Is he a front-running type quarterback? He has been, yes. But you know what he showed on Sunday? He showed that, you know what? Maybe this guy didn't get coached right. Maybe he was in the wrong system, the wrong team, the wrong environment. Because he looked like, at least on Sunday, he looked like an all-pro, almost bringing his team back. And on top of that, he took accountability for the botched error on the center. It wasn't his fault. It was the center's fault. Rookie, he's playing well, by the way, but it was a rookie mistake. And he took responsibility. That's what leaders do. And he almost brought them back. And I hate to say this, but the officiating in the NBA and NFL are as horrid as they are every week. It just never goes away. I watched Mika Fitzpatrick hit a guy with his shoulder perfectly with the other guy's shoulder, didn't touch his head, didn't touch the helmet, even slowed down and still got called for a 15-yard penalty on a third down, which would have been a punt. And they ended up scoring a touchdown after that. These things, you see how it works? So I didn't end Sunday with its first loss to the Steelers going, these guys, Tomlin, and my God. No. That particular game, it's still the NFL. Sometimes teams play well. Sometimes teams stop you. But what I saw resilience. And I saw something, at least from Justin Fields, that I hadn't seen since his career started. I saw someone who said, F this, I'm changing this narrative. They lost, but they lost playing their ass off. But they don't do that in LA. They don't do that in LA with the Lakers, and they don't do that with the Dodgers. They make monumental mistakes. Their leaders make monumental mistakes. The two leaders of the last two seasons make catastrophic mistakes during the year that cost their team games, and it ends up hurting them in the latter stages of the year and the playoffs and all those things. If you're going to start telling your crowd and your players that it doesn't matter in December, how are you going to convince them that it matters in April? It's an 82-game season for a reason. Those games matter, and it mattered last year. It mattered a lot because if you had won 3-4 more games, you would have never faced Denver, and you would have had a playoff spot. And you might have even, if you won maybe 5 games, you would have had the 4th seed. We already did the numbers on this. They won 5 more games last year. They would have been the 4th seed. Imagine starting a playoff sometime this decade at home for once. Losers always make excuses on why they're not winning. Effort matters. Conditioning matters. So let's see if JJ Redick is going to get these guys conditioned. Or are they going to fall apart? Are they going to get banged up to where they're going to be sitting down all the time? Because I don't know. I don't know what today's NBA player is. Well, actually, I do know, but they're soft. They're soft. They're weak. And the sad thing is they get paid more money now than they ever have in the history of their league. And it's all for soft pussies.
One of the things I wanted to go ahead and mention is some of the rhetoric LeBron James has been making both at Media Day and afterwards about his enjoyment level as far as where he's at. He seems very, I guess, inclined to understand where what the situation is, where the team stands, what kind of team that it is. He says he feels great coming off what happened with the Olympics. He's just really thrilled to be playing with his son. But the focus for him does not seem to be on winning a championship. And I think he's becoming more and more inclined about where the situation is with the Lakers at this point in time, Joe, which, again, is probably, to me, not the greatest attitude to have for if you're a Lakers fan, because as you have said, all we care about is championships.
He's a front runner. He always has been. He has persevered in certain seasons, but he lays down a lot. He lays down. It's the reason why he's had 11. He'll have 11 coaches in 22 seasons. He doesn't. I've said on record that I didn't blame him for leaving Cleveland, to go to Miami, because Dan Gilbert at the time was probably not catering to him as much, which that is kind of a bitch move on that. But the other thing is, no one's going to Cleveland. And the East at that point, you can make the playoffs. Hell, he went to the finals so many times because the East was pathetic. The guy went to the finals in 2007 with himself and no one. That's how bad the East was for a very long time. It's still sort of bad, but it's getting better now. But it's just not a good conference. If he had been in the Western Conference, he would have never saw 10 consecutive finals appearances. Hell no. It would have probably looked more like what he sees now in the West. Probably would have made a couple finals here. It was his prime. A couple finals here, then lose one, then make one, then lose one, maybe go back to back again. But he ain't going to go to 10 straight in the West. No freaking way. So he knows, and we know. Forget about LeBron. We already know. We've been talking about it. They spent more time drafting a bum than trying to get talent in the one area you had control to get talent. You have no control getting talent in the offseason because you don't have any money. Your roster is capped. No one wants to come to LA. So what? The one spot that you had a choice, you end up drafting his fucking son so that you can have this Dr. Doolittle moment in game one or whatever the hell they do. Everyone's going to be sitting there and awing and awing and awing. Stupid. I'll say it till the day I die. And all the emails that come our way and all the back talk and all that, you have to come back at me and tell me why I shouldn't think the way I do. What is this thing about? Professional sports. What is it about? Oh, it's gambling and they don't care and it's the refs and blah and blah and blah and blah. You know why I watch, guys? I'm addicted to winning and I'm addicted to competition. So while you're sitting there with all your stories and all your reasons on why and what and whatever, I don't give a shit. It's about the competition. It's about winning. I love competition and I love winning. That's why I watch. So if somebody comes in and says, well, we're going to postpone winning and being competitive because we want to massage the asses of our players and their family. I'm going to tell you, go fuck yourself. And the same people that treated Jerry West like shit, the same people that treated Jerry West's wife like shit, the same people that treated Alex Caruso with no respect after what he did. The guy didn't even get a phone call when he was a free agent. Not a, hey, we're going to go a different route. He didn't even fucking know. Finally took a deal with Chicago. What does that tell you about these people? And you want me to respect these people? Putting their heads on shoulders in front of everybody? Did you ever see Dr. Buss put his head on the shoulder of one of his players? What is this? What are we at the gym? What are we at a cocktail party? Or are we here to play basketball?
Speaking of that, did you get? Well, I sent you when it was first reported by Jovan Buha. LeBron has requested and has received, as far as a DJ that plays before and after practices. I believe it's DJ Meal, if I'm not correct. I'm not mistaken on that. So, what are your thoughts on DJ Meal being there doing his DJ stuff before and after practices, making LeBron happy? We're waiting 2 days for that response. To our audio listening audience, he just gave the number one sign. Just wanted to let you know. So,
my disdain for things grows. Everything's soft. Everything is useless.
With the middle finger, by the way.
Seriously. And by the way, Darren, if you're going to be a smartass with your comments, don't make me virtually slap you. I will.
Well, he said he wants to put up $50, banking on Max.
You're not going to win every game in sports. So understand the difference between losing and being a loser.
To be a difference this season. So he's betting $50 to someone out there on Max Christie being a difference this season. He better be. That's all I say, because you paid him like it. You bid against yourself.
What would that entail?
Well, you bid against yourselves for him to be it. And now do the process of elimination, that the fact they have zero depth on this team, Joe.
What would that entail?
He is going to get the chance.
What does Max Christie have to do to make a difference for this team?
Play a hell of a lot better than he did last season. That's for damn sure.
Yeah,
sorry, Rodell. It is what it is.
What does he have to do, though? What does he have to execute?
Shoot threes at a consistent level, play defense at a consistent level. I guess alternate between shooting guard and small forward.
Okay, thank you. Darren answered the damn question. You went into all the basic shit. So he's got to be a 3-and-D guy. He's got to play like a 3-and-D. How many 3-and-D guys are there in the NBA right now?
True 3-and-D?
Mm-hmm. They're feared that they're going to make the shot, and they're feared. They are a top-notch three-point shooter and a top-notch defender at the same time. Who out there in the NBA right now is that guy?
Did you say there's about 10?
You don't need to be an elite three-point shooter, but you're a threat.
I'd say there's about 10 to 15 players that in the whole entire league that are at a very good to elite level at both of them. So,
okay, so how many of those are all-stars?
The majority of them are.
Are they?
In my opinion.
Marcus Smart?
He's not a good three guy.
I mean, he makes threes, doesn't he?
But he's not at a good percentage.
What's this percentage? 38%, 37%?
I think 33 or 4.
Is he that bad?
Let me get it. He was at times. Let me see. Marcus Smart.
Okay, Bridges in New York.
His career shooting is 32, Joe.
Okay. Would you say
Bridges? Yes. OG and Anunoby and Bridges.
Okay, so both the Knicks have 2 3-and-D guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
DeJounte Murray, would you say he's a 3-and-D guy?
he was with San Antonio, kind of fell off the map with Atlanta. But yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll give it that. Yeah.
So Derek White, is he a 3-and-D guy?
Yes, he is. He has improved his shooting to match up
So
with
the difference between Derek White and Marcus Smart is Derek White made shots. Marcus Smart wasn't making shots, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
why he's gone. And
we'll take Marcus off that then. So you just got your answer. We need Max to play like Derek White. Derek White towards the end played like an all-star, because that's what 3-and-D guys are these years. They're either borderline all-stars or all-stars. If he does that, now he's the third option. Am I going to put that kind of pressure on Max Christie? I don't think that's smart. If he's slightly better than what he's been, it's not enough.
Darren says he has a question. Why is every idiot saying LeBron is a top 10 player when he was third team All-NBA last season?
The same reason why I have so much vitriol right now, and I've had it since the draft, is because it's this constant nonsense from the media, the ass kissers, and delusional fans keep saying things that are not true.
Corbina, Derek Jones Jr., yes. He did prove himself to be he got his shooting up, and he is an elite defender. Amen Thompson, no. He has yet to prove himself on the offensive end. He is a good defender. That's what he came in the league. But yeah, he's got to improve his shooting first.
10 players better than LeBron. Good question. Jokic, Embiid, Tatum, Jaylen Brown.
I mean, the reason why he was almost out of the league was that his shot left him. You're right, and he's a career 31% shooter. But if we're basing it off of last season, okay, your guys are right. 34% was Derek Jones last year. So
I'd say Wembanyama's better than him right now.
So
that's 6. Shea 7. Curry. I don't know. They might be a tie right now. So we got 7. And then we have...
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's not a high-volume three-point shooter. He's more driving into the lane, getting twos, getting buckets, and he is one of the elite players in the league at getting to the foul line. Elite at getting to the foul line.
Giannis. So that's 8.
Giannis, what? A 3-and-D?
No, better than LeBron.
Oh, okay. I was still working on that.
Let's see, who else? Would you say Anthony Edwards is better than LeBron?
Yes, at
So
this point.
9.
Lou Dort, lockdown defender, and he finally got to the point where he is just under 40% shooting last year. So Alex Caruso. So maybe these guys aren't all-stars on a lot of occasions. The guys in New Orleans, like Trey Murphy and Herb Jones.
Maybe we're starting to figure out that the talent pool is a little low right now. The fact that we're struggling to find top 10 players that are better than LeBron, that might show more than we think.
I was talking 3-and-D, but yeah, you're talking, that there's a...
Yeah, I was answering the question that the chat talked about.
Lou Dort is a fraud. I don't know about that, Black. I kind of disagree with you on that one.
You don't. Luka cooks everyone, though.
Yeah. Dort handled himself in the previous round quite well.
Luka cooked everyone, even when he couldn't do much in the finals. A lot of that, he was still scoring after game 1. He was still doing his thing.
Yeah,
just that he had to deal with more traps on him.
He toasted Ingram. He put him to shame. He locked him down pretty good.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving Kyrie Irving looked like James Harden in 2012 in this last finals. It was almost embarrassing watching him play.
Well, what's the adage in basketball? An elite offensive player or a great offensive player is still better than a great defensive player.
So there's an argument that LeBron's still a top 10 player.
Unless you're Wembanyama.
Do you believe Anthony Davis is better than LeBron?
Yeah.
Okay. So LeBron is going to be sitting for sure in the top 15. For sure.
You mentioned Wembanyama too, correct?
Yeah. I would take Wembanyama over LeBron. Absolutely.
Zion, yeah, if he's in shape, Darren, we could see a monster year from him as well. I agree with you. He has to play center. He's going to play a lot of center because
yes, Tatum, Eric. We said Tatum.
Yeah.
Ja Morant.
He comes back. He should.
We're talking skill, talent, individual. Yes.
And that's no fault to LeBron. He's close to 40 years old.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's a great question. I don't know. There's too many factors in this if you go beyond the individual performance. If you're factoring in individual performance, LeBron is still dropping the numbers from an individual standpoint. Just basing it off his individual game. But as far as his impact, yeah, if you factor in his impact, it's not good. Because he's mid. He's barely making the playoffs, and he's got Anthony Davis with him too on top of it. And they still can't win. That's not good. If it was LeBron 10 years ago, the Lakers would be still winning 55 games a season, a year with this kind of roster. Would you agree?
Yeah.
It would be guaranteed he'd win an extra 10 games in his prime.
There's 3 Jalen Williams in the league now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. No, I heard about that or the other day. I was like,
and I keep Bridges. Oh, it's always Miles always comes first, so I'm always saying Miles Bridges. Who, by the way, is a good player, just a piece of shit guy. But I mean, come on, I don't know why these guys all have the same names. I don't remember it being this bad.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching and listening. Truly appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break. So day 2 is in the books for training camp. Joe, obviously the fact that they want to shoot more, rebound better, all great verbiage that's been put out there by JJ. I do compliment him on that. I do get the fact that he gets that part of the scheme. I just think when you're talking about who you want to allocate those threes to, efficiency should still be a great part of that mix. About who you give that to, who you give it. You make sure your statistically best shooters are the ones that are dominating the shots from the outside.
Let's break it down. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody listening? Anyone? You ready? Okay.
Bueller?
Is Anthony Davis known for his passing from the block? Exactly. You answered it. Perfect. Actually, you answered it better than I thought you would. That's exactly. So now let's start there. How are you going to shoot more threes if you're going to involve Anthony Davis in his prime position where he does his best work? That's a question that I want you all to think about. Okay. The other thing is, if you're going to have everyone shoot, that means you got to spread the floor, correct?
Yeah.
Cool. Who's going to be the point guard in that situation? LeBron James.
I still think,
40-year-old.
and that's one of the things I wish he had mentioned more, was something we've talked about over the past couple seasons.
No, no,
Why
no.
not?
Hold on. Let's get
Okay.
to the scenarios, and then you can analyze it from there.
Well, just pick and rolls, more pick
I
and
want to paint
rolls.
a picture.
Okay.
I want to paint this picture, and I want to detail it so everyone understands what we're saying, and then you can analyze it from there. You were asking your two stars to do the two things they do the best. What does LeBron do the best? And it's one of the greatest things in basketball. LeBron, top of the key, get to the basket. To me, that's honestly, it's just a mundane version of the sky hook. It's so dependable. No one has ever been able to do it like that. I mean, the guys like Michael Jordan and Kobe, yeah, sure, those guys that can get to the basket, that's one thing. But a man like that, that's with that size and the ability to get to the basket, you could argue, didn't say that he's the greatest player that ever played getting to the basket because of the size, the strength, the speed, and the height, and the ability to just be a freak of nature, right? So in order to do that, you need those lanes to be spread out. Therefore, you're going to have people on the edges, on the outside, that are going to be the threat in case they collapse, and then he dishes out, which is good at that too. Now, are you going to have LeBron James exert that kind of energy? No, we're not going to do that. Apparently, Mr. JJ Redick wants him to play off the ball. When has LeBron ever been a catch and shoot guy to be off the ball? Does that make sense? Especially in his advanced age. If you'd said, oh, it's LeBron's going to adapt to this at 26. Yeah, I'll buy it. It's one of the greatest of all time. Absolutely. He probably worked on it in the offseason. That's what great players do. They work on their weaknesses. But this is a 40-year-old LeBron James. He ain't changing shit now, not only because he doesn't want to, but because he can't. He's got to be running around like like Rip Hamilton or Reggie Miller. What the hell are you talking about off the ball? What's going to happen is he's going to run around, and then things are going to go to shit, and then they're going to throw the ball to him, and then he's going to start ISO again. That's what's going to happen. And it's not going to be once in a while. It's going to happen a lot if that's your philosophy, based off history, based off age, based off wear and tear, based off these guys' games. So who else is going to change their game? You're asking your two stars to change their games this late in their careers and to do things that they're not good at. And they were really never good at even when they were primed. So let's get away from LeBron and AD for a minute. Let's say AD worked on his passing skills off the block. Now he's going to be sitting there and controlling everything, right? He's going to be able to get the ball to the open guy at the three. He's going to get the guy that's diving to the basket. He's going to get the backdoor bounce pass for a dunk, right? Let's just say he does that. Okay. LeBron, same thing. LeBron's going to be that guy too, right? Or is he going to just stand back and let everybody do the things? Because now you got to now convince me who out of the starters is going to be that way. Rui was doing a pretty good job doing that until the playoffs. You know what happened in the playoffs? You have to run into guys like Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, who can jump off the damn building. That created a defense that maybe messed him up mentally. He couldn't make layups. He couldn't bang down low and be able to work off that and still make the basket. So is he really going to be an asset going backdoor areas and dunking and getting those layups? Is D'Angelo Russell going to do that? Hell no. Is Austin Reeves athletic enough to do it? Hell no. Is Dalton Connect going to come off the bench and do that? Probably not. Is Max Christie going to do it? I don't know. Did he work on that? Does he have enough meat on his bones to deal with the physical part? It's a lot of questions. A lot of, I want this, we want this, and we're going to do this, with not a lot of backing. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. You all tell me what if I'm saying something that doesn't make sense to you. This is all based off of what we know and what we watch. It's not based off anything else. If you're sitting there and you're hoping that D'Angelo Russell all of a sudden becomes this guy that can get to the basket at will and is going to run around like a chicken with his head cut off to get to the basket, I'm sorry, folks, you're not going to be happy when that doesn't happen. Shoot more threes is your answer after a year of hearing that from that numbnuts before. That's your answer. I'm going to make a 28% three-point shooter start shooting threes. The same guy who's the only guy that can rebound on your team with any consistency. But let's go draft a guy in the second round because we can't get any talent in the second round. And then a week later, a guy who got picked in the second round won his third MVP. Third MVP. Third MVP. Should have been 4 too, by the way. 3. So the difference between some people and the smart people is some people will continue to allow themselves to think correctly, but not execute it. And then you have the psychopaths like me who come out and say, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense, and fuck up an entire room because of that. And then everybody feels uncomfortable. But you know what it is in the end? Being right is not the point. The point is you're not making sense and I'm calling you out. I don't give a shit if you're JJ Redick. I don't care if you're a multi-Hall of Fame guy. These things doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I didn't play in the NBA or coach in the NBA. None of that shit matters. Answer my question. I'm giving you legitimate information based off what we watch and what we know. Why am I thinking negatively? Why are we thinking negatively when we're giving you facts? I want to know so that we can have a conversation.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro along with me, Joe Glassford. Thanks again for watching and listening. Don't forget the game on Friday is at 7:30. It's in Palm Springs against the Minnesota Timberwolves. We'll have it on playback. You can, as far as the chat is concerned, you'll have to go ahead and get the feed yourself on that, but you'll be there if you want to go ahead and hear myself, Joe, and everybody else, hopefully, that will stop by right there for us on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. And after, on Friday evening, Joe Soro himself, I'm just going to drop this on him, will be hosting a solo nightcap. I did solo for 2 hours yesterday. I figured I'd go ahead and let him run the nightcap because it'll be the first nightcap of the season with Joe Soro. How's that sound, my friend, on Friday? He looks thrilled. Yes. He's smiling now. Mass Effect is one of my favorites. Yes, Alan, all time. Absolutely. Yes. As you can tell by my wall and the standee there. Yes. Yes, it is. But Joe, you're on mute. Corrupt may become everyone's favorite game here, though. You're on mute.
Fighting games are a niche market.
Oh, what happened here?
We are enjoying the launch today for the demo, and there's been a lot of positive feedback. Yes, the demo launched today, Darren. Yes.
Corrupt. You can download the demo right now, and then make sure you put it on your wish list. So when the full game comes out, you can be among the first to buy it. Right there. Corrupt on Steam.
Black, go to Steam and type in Corrupt, and you'll see Corrupt demo, and then just go ahead and download it.
I've got it coming up for you. I got the link right here. Got the link, and I actually put it in the description. I'll have it in the description for you as well. I've been doing that the past few days. I've got to put the description in the description as far as our usual stuff that we put in there. So I will go ahead and do that for you. But Joe, before we head on out, I just wanted to see what your evaluation on this team. But the thing that bothered me most was LeBron, just seeing him at ease heading into his age 40 season, seeing very content on life, seeing a lack of motivation, maybe you could say in some circles, because he doesn't seem he seems energized to play with his son. He seems energized because of the fallout from winning the gold medal. That I cannot dispute, but he just seems inclined to know what this Lakers roster is and doesn't seem to bother him too much. This is the guy who, passive aggressive, the tweets, the hourglass, Rob, you better do something type deal. I didn't get that. I didn't get those vibes. I got someone that looks ready at ease to just go ahead and enter the last phase of his career.
I'm not going to presume anything at this point based off of feelings or I'm basing everything I'm saying off of talent evaluation and the execution of the roster. That's it. There's a history and there's a legitimate roster that says what we've been telling you, that this team is going to struggle. Very likely would have to have everything go perfect for them to have any chance at being competitive. And we all know these guys can't stay on the court, the ones that are significant enough to play. And we're going to be here to hope something happens, some kind of a trade that actually does reverse their fortune. And it's stat padding, like Brian was saying here. We've said plenty of times on the show, no one cares about stats in the NBA. They care about stats in baseball, or at least they did. They used to.
They used to.
NFL definitely doesn't care. No one cares that Tom Brady's thrown 500 touchdowns. The only thing they care about is he's won 7 Super Bowls.
I mean, when 250 is thought out as a good hitter, Joe, that's a problem to me.
Yeah, the batting title winner in the NL hit 314.
Yeah, I was gonna say 310. Wasn't 310?
Yeah, right 314. Shohei was 310, and that was a miracle in itself. He just a few weeks before he was at 287 until he went on that run. Right. We celebrate mediocrity. We celebrate individual accomplishments in a team sport. And
I remember when under 200 players, okay, if you were hitting under 200, your name better be Dave Kingman. Anyone else was like, if that was under the Mendoza line, as they called it, you could consider some other sport than baseball.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's changed in baseball is there's so many specialists that pitch now. It's rendered hitters, I guess, I don't want to say useless. That's not the right word. So I talked to Will Clark. I'm sure most of you know who Will Clark is. Will Clark was a phenomenal hitter. And I had a discussion with him a couple of years back when I was in San Francisco. And he says, these guys don't practice. They're not in the cage working on their game. And you always hear that about Shohei. Shohei, I think it was Chris Taylor was interviewed about it. And he said, this guy's regimen is just phenomenal. It's second to none. He'll be in that cage and he'll get the swings he wants. Otherwise, he's going to keep swinging. And those who are amazed at his accomplishments this year, I can't help but think that he had a feat that's still mind-boggling. The guy hit 54 home runs and stole 59 bases in the same year.
That's
No
a good
one's ever
list
done
right
that,
there.
folks. You know how long the baseball has been baseball? Now, baseball started before 1903, but 1903 was when the AL and the NL became a league, a major league. So we're talking about 121 seasons of the format that we see now. And this is the first time it's happened. What I think might happen next year is I think he might win a batting title next year because he's going to harness what he did this last couple of weeks. Even when he didn't hit big shots, he was still getting singles like there were nothing. So he very well could win a batting title next year. He very well could bat 350 next year and pitch. But he puts the work in. He puts the work in. And that's what you have to do to combat these 99 mile an hour, 101 mile an hour breaking balls, curve ball, not curve, but you got guys that can pitch, and they're not. There's like 20 Nolan Ryans now, in the same playing at the same time. Where back in the day you had one Nolan Ryan doing what he was doing.
Yes, Jeff, he is awake. He is back this time. He did oversleep.
So what was that punk talking last night?
Which one? About what?
Jeff. I heard he was talking smack.
Oh, he's always talking smack about.
Yeah, I know. What do you say?
Call usual Joe Sorrow.
Yeah. Talking smack when I'm not around, Jeff. Is that how you roll?
Watch the show. That would have been better, Joe. You would have known.
I'll watch the show. So while I'm working,
you weren't on it because I know you hate your voice. I was doing it, so you could just watch the comments.
Joe fell in the hot tub machine last night. Shohei the batter. Angels lost 14 in a row. Betts talked about him late last night. Yeah, I saw that too. I showed up. You didn't. Oh yeah.
Angels are awful. This comes from a soon-to-be former Angels fan. So yes, it's a terrible run organization. It's one of the worst. But again, with Chicago and the White Sox around, there's a team that's actually worse run than they are right now. So I run DMC. I agree with you, $7,000. Absolutely. But that's a good 5 right there for rap groups. If you put rap artists and you put solos in there, would you put Eminem, LL Cool J? I've seen LL Cool J at a sold out sports arena, killing it, an entire audience in the early 90s saw. But if you're talking about rap groups, I can't argue with that list. Again, maybe I would put Run DMC in there as well, but who you take out is up to you. So. I would like that Wu-Tang album. I believe they had to give it, the guy who has it in his possession had to give it back to the Wu-Tang. I like that Wu-Tang album. The one there's only one in existence. Be a nice collector's item. But yeah, the Beastie Boys. Yes, Brian. Excellent. Yes. I agree. Yeah, they're awesome. Yep. Intergalactic.
That's the quickest discussion you can have, sounding like the old man kicking people off his lawn. Just talk about music. Everyone always says my music back in the day.
Well, no, he put out his top 5 rap groups. He put a super chat, which I greatly appreciate. It always helps the channel out. He put his thoughts. I said I wouldn't argue it. All of those are outstanding groups. I appreciate it, Jeff. Congratulations on your show this evening as well. So. Joe, any thoughts to Jeff before he heads out and walks the dog?
Watch out for the muggers. It's late. Muggers love people who walk dogs because they're distracted.
But it's all opinion, Xbox. Your top 5 maybe isn't his top 5.
better be strapped, especially where you're at.
Well, my friend, it's been a great episode. But before we head on out, I do want to go ahead and say again, we will be back Friday for sure. Tomorrow, if there's any news or notes, we'll go ahead and stop on by. But Friday for the game, and then Joe will be on doing a nightcap, his first nightcap of the season, to give you an evaluation of what went on with the first exhibition game coming up after the game. So there you go. But Joe, again, 2 days down. I do like the emphasis on physicality. JJ's reminder of where they were at as far as three-point shooting and rebounding. Some good things I see JJ implementing and talking about. Still some troubling things, but it may be a step in the right direction. Again, I want to see it out on the floor. I want to see the product, how it looks. Is it competitive with the rest of the league? And how's coaching ability at certain key points during the game? Does he make adjustments?
So
Does he do things?
Your favorite guy, the Jovan Buha, whatever.
He's not my favorite guy, but he's trying hard out there. Give him credit.
Saying that he's been following this team the last 5 seasons. He says they haven't had this kind of positivity and joyous, upbeat energy before.
They on Monday. I don't know if that's one of the things that we didn't get across well enough, is because we kind of try to ignore it, because you and I, Joe, have been calling out Darvin Ham's ineptness as a coach for over a season and a half. They really threw him under the bus on Monday, and that's something that, again, was pretty obvious to see. But they all took shots at Darvin Ham, and okay, great. We all knew Darvin Ham was bad. That's fine. You guys knew Darvin Ham was bad. All right, that's fine. Now, are you going to go ahead and do well with JJ Redick? Are you going to be a better team with JJ Redick? Are you going to be a team that's going to compete in the Western Conference and get a playoff spot and win in the playoffs with JJ Redick? Because if you're a mediocre 500 team with LeBron and AD in there, you could, okay, the excuses will come out. Oh, well, it's JJ's first season. Oh, well, it's JJ this and that. Again, he's saying all the right things now, or many of the right things now. I hope that gets implemented, and again, we'll see how it looks on the floor. I just want to see how he is as a coach.
That's what I'm trying to figure out here. Is the team hired him. Why would they throw him under the bus? You knew it from I knew it from the moment he opened his trap in training camp.
Remember when Doobie was from that first game, and that first game he coached, it was already fire Ham. We already had people on the chat, Best Lakers chat room is out there, Lakers Fast Break, already in the chat after the first exhibition game, already asking to fire Ham at that point in time, because they knew. Because they saw it.
So what do they know?
Well, they obviously foretold the future, because Ham obviously was not prepared to be a head coach. And that's one thing that JJ is being talked about as doing, is providing a lot of organization and preparation in his work. So we'll see how that comes across for the product.
How is this going to enhance their team, though?
That's the good question. That's, again, I'm not Laker Tom, who's automatically giving him a win and saying he's the next Pat Riley. Okay, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that he's been very organized. He said some really good things, and he's implemented some really good things that the Lakers have needed to work on. He has said some things that I kind of gave me pause, but for the most part, what I've seen has been good. So but again, we have to see how it looks out on the court.
So the Fitbit is going to help when make your talent better?
But the emphasis on being more physical, focusing on more rebounds, taking more threes as a team. If you're not AD, taking more threes as a team.
Right.
But again, let's see how that looks. I can't wait either. Brian, yeah, there has to be more than top 5, maybe a top 10. How about that? So we can get all of them in there. So that you guys like. So But yeah, I'm wishing all the best for the Lakers this season, but we'll have to see how it looks out there. But it is the Lakers Fast Break. Once again, please support Joe by going over to Steam. If you are into the fighting game genre, Corrupt, a game that he is helping to sponsor, just came out with a demo that will go ahead and hopefully rock your socks off. That hopefully the net code is outstanding. Hopefully the action looks like it's fast paced. It looks like it's something that I think a lot of people get into. If you are in the fighting game genre, please head over to Steam, head on over there and go ahead to where type in Corrupt and download it. And then also, if you like it, go ahead and put it on your wish list. So when it comes out as a full featured game, be able to go ahead and get it right away. Darren says top 5 worst defenders in the NBA: D'Lo, Luka, Trae Young, LeBron.
That's a hard one because there's so many, and I don't think
there's a lot of bad defenders in the NBA.
If you're talking bad defenders that are great players, that's a good list to start with. Definitely Trae, definitely Luka, D'Lo, which I'm not considering him a great player, but LeBron doesn't play defense a lot because he can't. It's not so much. It's just he'll pop a tendon if he does, but so it is what it is.
D'Lo, having D'Lo, LeBron, and Hayes in your top 5, Darren, that's not a good sign for the Lakers. If that's the case, but again, we'll see. I do appreciate the super chat. Always welcome to do so. And then, of course, don't forget, we will give you always a shout out if you become a member today. It's just $2.99 a month. Get badges, emojis, shout outs from us. You get inside tips on when we go live or when we're going to go live that day. And then also as well, extra little stuff. Like I put my Mr. McMahon review. I'll hope you'll see my Lakers written preview before anyone else. And hopefully Joe may be doing some stuff that, if he has the time to go ahead and send it to you as well. So there you go. Xbox says he just got the demo.
Have fun, Mark.
Let's go. Absolutely. So with that, let Xbox go ahead and play Corrupt. And hopefully now after the show, you'll go ahead and download Corrupt. It is in the description below. Just go to Steam and type in the word on a search, C-O-R-E, Core, U-P-T, Corrupt. And there you go. You excited, my friend? Your game is finally out in the wild.
Yeah, it was time, man. People were just like, when is this going to come out? So we're going to get a chance to see how this wave starts and how big it can get.
Well, we'll soon find out. Please help out Joe. Download Corrupt today. And if you like it, go ahead and buy it on Steam. And hopefully someday soon on PlayStation, Xbox. It's coming soon to PlayStation, Xbox. So we'll see. All right. And with that, we'll hopefully be back tomorrow if there's any news to go ahead and correlate. But we'll definitely be back Friday for the Lakers' first preseason game against Minnesota in Palm Springs. That's at 7:30. It will be on, as far as the chat, on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. And then Joe will be solo after the game with a nightcap. The first nightcap of the season. I know you guys have been asking for it. You'll get it on Friday right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Corrupt, baby. Corrupt.